Hello and welcome. Well, the almighty Dumsor demo hit Accra today. But, you know, they two schools of thought. One says, well, after the demo, then what? Do we have lights? Others are saying, well, maybe the demo would let the government set up and speed up what it is that it has to do to provide energy for the nation. Indeed, one and only bloodline after whether we're going to make it or not. Government insists that, listen, I have it under control. Everything is in check. There are new generators coming up. There are new plants coming up. Is the MPP just being impatient, or is it just a political gimmick that, no, they're trying to win some political points? Well, we are yet to find out. With me in the studio to my immediate left, Fred Agbonyo, Deputy Communications Director, NDC. Freddie, thank you for coming. You're welcome.
No, thank you very much for the opportunity.
And Nana Fredia, Second Vice Chairman, MPP East.
My last name is Mumpana.
Nana Fredia Oforiata. Nana Fredia Oforiata. Second Vice Chairman, MPP Eastern Region. Yeah, but everybody seems to just end at the Nana Fredia. But today we continue. I will start with Fred. Fred, one we heard that, oh, not many people were going to turn up at the event, which then meant that the MPP had no polling power. Then it turns out that, well, a lot of people came, and therefore maybe the concerns are genuine. Would it let government set up and do before? Let's just watch some of the inserts. Hear some of the speeches that went on, so that we base our conversation on it. So let's watch the insert.
This signifies how angry we are. Everybody in this country called Ghana is angry. We are angry because it appears the NDC have taken us for a cheap ride. I have, because one, I have a business that has collapsed. My business, and sometimes, look, I've never seen any country where electricity is on at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. By 5 o'clock it is off. And therefore it means that all of us who are doing our businesses by the day cannot have electricity, to help us in our businesses.
Well, some of the scenes from this afternoon. Let me go back to Fred and say, would it let government do anything quicker, or is still business as usual? Would you take it into account, or it's the MPP trying to score some political points?
Well, no, thank you very much for the opportunity once again. Let me say good evening to our cherished viewers. It's been a while. My good friend Nana Fredia, I don't know who is mourning this evening with his black career and the red thing around his neck. But it's good for you, Nana. Coming back to the substantive issue, I think that it shows clearly that our democracy is growing as a country. We're a group of people who are very tolerant, a group of people who allowed everybody to do whatever he wants to do within the confines of the law. Nobody is going to stop anybody from doing whatever they think that he can do to help our democratic process. MPP gave a notice that they want to embark on this demonstration this day, and everybody, so to speak, has been looking forward to it. And true to all their programs and plans and everything, it did came off. I really would have been surprised if anybody thought that we didn't have the numbers on the street to match with the MPP and stuff like that. There's a political party there, the second or the biggest opposition political party in this country, a political party that had over 5 million votes in the last elections. So you cannot expect that if they have put buses out there conveying people from all over the country to congregate at a particular point to demonstrate, you cannot assume that they wouldn't get the people to come. Buses were all available, at least an occasion for them to do some fundraising. I'm told the T-shirt that they wore, that they wrote the Yegbo, whatever it is, were sold for 20 Ghana, so that they were able to get enough money to bring some buys or board. So I am not surprised about the numbers. If I used to use this platform now to announce to the people viewing us that tomorrow 10 a.m. NDC we are meeting anywhere, announce any plan, maybe the same Obra Square. Trust me, you come there and you come and see thousands of people congregating to listen to us. We have a large following.
But would they meet for meeting's sake, or would they meet because they're concerned about whatever it is that you wanted them to meet?
Well, Dana, you should be telling me. You have been around, you have been following the discourse all this while, and you should be able to convince yourself and our viewers if indeed this demonstration is meant to help resolve a problem that we have in the country, or like you rightly said in your intro, it was some kind of political gimmick. Let us also do something. Let us announce to the people that we are still around. Let us announce to the people of this country that we are going to contest elections. Now, I admit, and just like everybody else in NDC, including the president himself, that the people of this country are going through some difficulty as a result of this Dumsor thing that has happened. We talk about barbers, talk about hairdressers, all of us in our various domestic homes. You wake up and you don't have life to even iron your shirts, and it's a problem to you. I don't think it's a situation anybody will want to remain in or to be in. If the president had any magic or some charm where he can just call things into being, I'm sure by now he would have done that. You can go and sit down and say, listen, let this plant come here and the plant is there. Let this machine be here and the machine is there. Let the Hosombo Dam get filled up and the next month it is full up. But you and I agree that development is a process. Development is not a day's event. Yes, I agree. How long should it take us to get some of these things in place? But it is not for anything they say that Ghana is a developing country. We are on the path to development. We have several needs. We have several things that we need to attend to. We have resources that are competing for several needs competing with the meager resources that you have. So you can't have everything that you want in place. Our people, even in Greater Accra here today as we speak, there are people who don't have water, potable water to drink. Our roads are not in the best of places. The hospitals are not too good. The schools are not too good. Almost every facet of our society that you can talk to today, there are some challenges over there. You have resources, you need to attend to it. Energy is a priority. Energy is important because for every other thing, every facet to really move on and do very well is dependent on your energy. So it is not an issue that we can joke with. I can go back in history, give all the analogy, give all the chronology of events where we started from the electricity generation and what have you. Where we have gotten to right now, I am not too sure that people of this country are interested in all those stories. For the people of this country, what they want to see is that there is light in their house.
All the sectors are, struggling, as you said, but they all somehow depend on energy, which makes energy, priority.
That's right.
Do you feel that in the last 6 years, we have prioritized energy so that all these other sectors would work?
Well, I think that for the past 6 years, some work has been going on. I am not too comfortable with the pace. I would have wished that we moved faster than we did. I thought that we sat back a little bit. Some decisions that we have taken and worked on very quickly. I sincerely want to believe that there was some delay. Maybe when we talk to the real managers of it, the people at the Ministry of today, we call the power and the rest, they will give you reasons why they couldn't do some of those things that we are supposed to do. Now, the truth of the issue is that in this country until 1998, we were depending solely on hydro power. Now, hydro is a situation you don't have any control over. You and I cannot determine when it rains, when the water comes into the dam. So it was in 1990 that people said, no, we have to move away. What do we do? Can we look in the direction of Tema? Do we bring some plants, start building some generation capacity and stuff like that? At the time, we didn't even have crude, we didn't have oil, gas, we didn't have gas. We need to depend on other countries to be able to power some of these plants. As we speak today, we are told that per the plants that we have, the generation capacity, if you put everything together, over 2,800 megawatts of electricity. During our peak season, we are told we spend barely 2,300 megawatts. What it means is that if all the plants were working well and we are getting the maximum capacity from all the plants, we should even have excess energy today as we speak. Unfortunately, as we speak, the Hosombo Dam that is supposed to give us about 1,020 megawatts is giving us less than 400 in some cases. Bui Dam that is supposed to give about 400 megawatts is giving about 1,800 in some cases. Now you come to talk about the other plants, the T1, as we speak today, the machine is down, technical problem. Now we are told because the machine is a customized machine, you have to go back to the manufacturer of the machine for him to re-mold that particular part that is fault. It takes time for them to mold. It takes time for them to ship it down, for it to be fixed into the system. So these are purely technical challenges. I've heard a lot of people say that president have come out and several of us have come out to give timelines as to when these are going to be solved, and we are not solving it. It's not as if we had one major problem causing all the light off. A mirage of problems, several factors.
Let me bring Nana in here. Nana,
Okay.
I mean, clearly, it's understandable. They're doing their best.
Who?
Well, the government.
So why are we in the situation we're in? We've listened to Mr. Agbonyo say a lot of things this evening. What he has actually admitted is their blame. The blame goes to them. If you came into office knowing this history, that up until 98, this is where we stood. And the truth is that the NDC has been in government and ruled this country for over 20 years. At one point in time, when they spoke, nobody spoke. So they had all the authority. They didn't have a parliament to challenge them on issues. They didn't have a minority to face when they took decisions. What were they doing at that time? Why didn't we benefit at that time? They had the speed opportunity. He talks about he's bothered about speed. He's worried about speed. They had all the time in the world at that time. Let's fast track to recently. They like to go into history about the Kufuor regime. What didn't they do in 2007 when we had all those problems? Didn't they go on a demonstration of this sort? Didn't they have all the experts with chalk and blackboard? What didn't they tell us? At that time, what was extremely different from now? Because they tell us that now it's not very different from then. The difference is that it's taken them 3 years and we're still in the same place. The difference is that the president has not been truthful. He keeps making promises he cannot fulfill. The fact is that they're taking Ghanaians for a ride.
Could it be that
these are realities?
No, and it's reality, but could it be that, I'm the engineer and I tell Mr. President, I'll fix it for you in a week.
He
President
keeps saying
then
that.
tells them.
He keeps doing that. When you do it, you see, when you're a leader, it requires a lot of experience and thinking and action time and all. And there's a culmination of things that put you in the position that is referred to as president. Nobody is supposed to be coming into the presidency of modern times with the experience of being president unless your constitution permits it. And even then, in your first instance, it is the first time. So you come there with a certain expectation from the people that you have capacity. Mr. Mahama is not proving Ghanaians right. He's not showing it. When you come in and they tell you the first time and you go and make the utterance, and then it is proven that that promise or pledge you made is not coming, don't make it again. He came to make it 7 more times. And then now he promises us that he won't promise again. And we're supposed to take it. What are the realities on the ground? Today when we were on that thing, there were children who were responding. You know why the children would respond to Mahama Dumsor? Why would they respond? It's because you're killing their life. They can't study. They cannot study. These are realities. You don't care. You think it's a joke. You ask me whether I've gone to a funeral. Keep laughing. Today you are a propaganda secretary, so you don't care. You have power. So your magnanimity with power is such that you have become arrogant about what has to happen on the ground with regard to the power that Ghanaians have given you. You claim they gave it to you. Use it so that their lives benefit. What are the technical realities on the ground? If multimedia were to put out their bill on a weekly basis, how much are you paying? Multiply by the number of media houses that depend on electricity to do anything, particularly radio, to stay on air. How much is being spent?
Is barima still operating?
That's personal. I don't deal like that. But everybody is suffering. Everybody, if you go to a hotel, ask them how much they're spending. I know a hotel that in one particular month had to spend 90,000 cedis. So now, what happens to the bonuses of the workers? If they're not generating income, people are not coming into the hotel, what do they do? These are realities on the ground, and people think that, you see, and then the measures that they're talking, where's the Osei badge? Is it working? Where is it? Is it working? These badges that they claim are coming, are they real short-term measures that will solve our problem between now and June? Or the badges are now coming? They have to create a port for them. I was listening to a technical person today. They have to find a place for these badges to park and then pump in the energy. Where are those things? I hear that when these badges come, they are going to be billing us 2.4 times what VRA would bill us for giving the energy to ECG. Is it true? If so, where are you going to find that money? You found money to get the badge. You can't buy oil to give us energy.
Price of energy that we refuse to pay? That's why we're here.
Is it what?
Not the actual price of energy that we have to pay. That's why we are here.
Is that a political truth? Is that the economic truth?
It is economic
the truth of economics.
If they are charging us 2.4 more than VRA, it means VRA is undercharging us. Hence, they don't have money to expand.
Is that the truth? Let's ask experts. Don't ask Fred. Ask experts, because I don't know. Notice that I asked it as a question.
Okay.
If you ask Fred, he's just going to add propaganda to the matter. I'm saying I'm asking a question. What is the point about 2.4 more, 2.4 times more than what VRA? Where is the money coming from? That they're telling us they have a short-term measure. How come, and here's a nice political thing if you want to go to Fred, how come Mr. Mahama is never in town to answer these questions? He's always traveling. We're not getting any benefits from these travels to show that there's something on the ground. Just deal upon deal upon deal. When you ask them, nothing is going on. They tell you they are constructing roads. Who says there's a problem with constructing roads? We're saying, who's going to use those roads if you can't keep us alive? People are dying. Oh. 2 weeks ago, it was in the... You're laughing, Fred. I find it very strange that when I say people are dying, you're laughing.
But
it was reported. It was reported. It's exaggerated. It was reported on the front page of Graphic that a couple died because they had put the generator in their room. Why would they put the generator in their room? Theft. It's dark outside. Somebody can come and take it. Why should they even have a generator on? Because the electricity is not coming. Fred finds it funny that the family should be watching you right now and you find it funny.
No, one of our immediate solutions are the barges coming.
You see?
And then they find time to issue statements to us. If they think it was not that important, how can you issue 2 statements in less than a week? This one, by my estimation, is about 1,560 words on us.
But not too long ago, you issued 2 statements the same day, one from Parliament, one from your party leadership, confusion all over the place.
There was no confusion. The issues were specific. You are worried about the demonstration
within a week.
That is telling you what's on the ground.
2 statements in a day. Nobody's complaining.
Let's come back to energy. The 2 barges
I think that he said a few things that needed to be responded to before we can move forward. To say that the president has been lying to the people of this country and making promises that he's not taking the people of this country very serious, it begs the fact. Is he saying that when President Kufuor was the president of this country, in 2006, 2007, when we were going through similar problems, he came up, I remember President Kufuor even giving us a date, telling us that by 31st of September, we are going to solve the energy problems. At the time, was the president lying to us? Was it the case that was not taking us serious?
Okay, that's...
During that time, when you took passes from here, you took them to Akosobo to go and pray for the river. Does it mean that you didn't know what to do? I have said that we in NDC are not in a competition with MPP.
Good.
MPP is not a better
Let's fast forward to the badge.
We are not bothered. Who said we are bothered about it? It is the people of this country we are bothered about. Our social contract that we entered into.
What bother with this?
Not MPP. MPP is an alternative to NDC. Not solutions. Because they were in power. He was saying that NDC has lived in power the longest, almost 20 years, nobody talked. You see,
I didn't say almost 20, I said more than 20.
You don't discuss history. You don't discuss it in a vacuum. You have to put history in a context. The context in which the PNDC governed this country. Those were the days that even historians describe Ghana as a failed state. Those were the days everything in this country has come to a standstill. That was the time the PNDC came in. Give it to us, we'll take it. The bad, the ugly, and the good of the PNDC. It is that regime that people were able to remobilize this country and brought this country to where we are.
Turned out to be a good student of their propaganda.
That is why we want us to go. We can go there. We are saying that the people of this country gave us a job to do. He's doubting it. He's doubting it is true that the people of this country will give us the job. Your flag bearer was on the paper. Our flag bearer was there. The people of this country look at the 2 of them and other people and said, it is you, President, how we have confidence in. It is you we think you can solve our energy problem. It is you we think that can solve our water problem.
Even the people who voted,
I'll come to that issue.
They have no confidence.
So I want to assure him that this problem will be solved. This is the penchant of celebrating anytime this country is going through difficulties and Ghanaians are suffering. That is the time for them to show holier than thou attitude. They love Ghana more than anybody else and everybody else. They care about the people of this country. People are dying because they put generator in their room. Why? I will come back to that. You see, these things, when you don't respond to them, you come and repeat that people are dying. Fred is laughing. People. Why? Who said I'm happy people are dying?
Were you not laughing?
Was electricity not killing people in this country? Is it only generator? Now let's go to the issue.
Thank you.
It is true that we have several things that we have put down that we want to do. In the short term, what do? We have said that machines are broken down. Those machines, we need to fix them. When we fix them, because like I said, over 2,850 something megawatts of electricity, if most of the thermal plants are working, we get adequate gas for them, we get adequate fuel for them, that alone should be able to handle the situation as we have it now. Because we are saying over 600 megawatts of electricity, that alone should be able to come on board. Now we are talking about this budget that we are bringing. Now you're talking about the cost of it. You see the kind of politics. Everything you do, they will look at the other side of it and still want to create a problem around it.
The budget seems to be the immediate.
That was your so-called
solution.
No, the fixing of the machine.
Everything is not ready.
They are refusing to abreast themselves what is happening. At the point I was worried as a person. The point I'm making is that they are fixing the machines. I've told you, for instance, the T1 in Accra is broken down. It's a technical, purely technical issue. It is not working. The T2, they say a particular machine is also broken down. That they have asked the manufacturer to manufacture and
find
bring.
Out when they broke
now,
down.
Asogli, no, not Asogli, the Etuabo gas plant that came on board. The gas that we are supposed to get from Etuabo, if we use it to power some of these thermal plants, we are supposed to get about 500 megawatts of electricity from that area. You and I know that Atuabo somehow is still under test transmission. It is not operating at full capacity yet. So once we are able to finish all the test transmission and it comes into full operation, definitely we should have enough gas from there to power those plants, and then we generate more electricity. In the medium term, well, you can, if you choose to add the budget to the short term, fine, because we're expecting the budget within the first quarter, one budget will come, second quarter, the second budget will come. First to second quarter means it ends by June, that the budgets will come on board. Of course.
Giving us about 500 megawatts.
450 megawatts of electricity. What it means is that if, as we speak now, we are shedding 600 megawatts during the peak season, it means that even the 450 will not automatically solve the problem if we are not able to fix these other problems. We are also hoping that by that June, July, at least, looking at what the weather condition has always been, the rains will start coming in. So then we expect some water in the Akosombo Dam, we expect some water in the Bui Dam. All this will come and add up to the feed. As I speak to you now, Nana, there are about 16 different projects. Whether a contract has been signed, some people have moved to site.
You see, one thing I worry about, the barges, how would they be fueled?
I don't quite get it.
I mean, 450 megawatts is a lot of fuel, either gas or light crude. So how would they?
The understanding I get, and I stand to be corrected on this, is that they are not going to use gas, they are not going to use fuel. They have a special mechanism that are built in it. I don't know if it's a solar system, I'm not sure what the system is, that they are going to use to power the barges. So they are not going to depend on fuel. A self-generating system to generate their own gas. Not going to use any of those. That is why it is.
That's why maybe it's 2.4 per unit.
The person who runs that nursery school, for the children to hear their nursery rhymes and sing along, for that small clinic in some village that requires electricity to take care of the villages, who says they care about how the badge is fueled? Where is the badge? And when it comes, how will it work so that they can afford it? When? Look, I'm reading their statement. They are making all kinds of funny, and I'm listening to him too. What he says is what they've written. What has happened with Bui? I'd be very happy if multimedia would find time to go and investigate Bui, because I have information that suggests that the equipment that they were supposed to buy for Bui, when they took over power, they didn't go and buy that. They went and bought the wrong type of things. Just go and find out. Go and find out, because it is part of their problem. As far as I've been told, please find out. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. Let's find out. Let's find out. They're talking about the breakdown of thermal plants. Anna, you have international experience because you traveled. You may not know energy like I don't know, but at least you're traveled. You know that when you are putting this water here, there's backup in case I need a second one. Your producer, if they know nothing else, will make sure that your floor manager is providing us with extra bottles just in case, God forbid, I choke to the gladness of Fred. There should be an extra bottle here. That is the same way you should be managing these plants. So how is it possible that they are? The other day I heard questions. I hear Sam George has made a statement. It's on My Joy Online. He doesn't stop talking. He's made a statement that he's challenging the competence of VRA and doesn't see how Asogli is able to get their plant working quickly. Are you comparing yourself to Asogli if you don't have a backup plan for when things break down? I'd be happy if multimedia and media houses would go and find out why these plants are taking so long to fix. When they broke down, what were the steps taken? There have been hints that we've been crying out about, that they're trying to sell ECG. And so they're creating an environment for us to be sympathetic to the situation and sell ECG. Is it true?
So
let us go to ECG and find out. Let us go to ECG and find out. So when all these things are coming, there's real reason, because they are not, in their statement, in his things that he has said, the fact that he's even laughing at people dying, all those things point to something. We need to find out.
Part privatization is a fact. That's not
about 2 or 3 days ago, the president, even when he met,
why are they eager to do those things? Why?
What we have said, that what we are going to as a country, there's a need for us to get a private people on board.
Your inefficiency.
But we're in this country, and now we are now in this country, when we had a sole person providing this telecommunication facility for us. Those that they call them one touch.
This is electricity for crying out loud.
Please, Nana,
it is a security matter.
Since when did you realize that? Nana Freddy,
It is a
when did you
security.
realize
If
that?
you didn't know Fred,
And
say
you think
so.
we don't know?
You just joined the
see,
Fred, so if you don't know,
which
say so. We're talking serious matters here. You think that this is a phone card situation?
It is only when
we're talking about phone cards.
You have no idea. It is only you know the.
Oh, that was your problem because when you were in opposition, you said things that you're unable to implement. Today, you now realize that you shouldn't be called propaganda secretary because you're unstable. What are we talking about?
Let me take a break. When I come back, we look at realistic. Are we paying realistic, tariffs enabled to service and run and expand the energy sector? Don't move. We're coming back. Well, we're back on big demonstration with regards to Dumsor and energy crisis. But see, the truth of the matter is, as a nation, are we paying realistic targets? Tariffs for energy. Energy costs a lot, and depending on how you produce it, costs a lot. Now, you need to expand, probably in our case, 12.5% on a yearly basis. That's even if we're going to break even with no reserve, 12.5%. There's ECG that's not collecting its money. Those at the bottom end are not paying because, they are too much rowdy for the guys to go and get the money. Those at the top and the ministries are too big for the guys to go and collect their money. And these are the two, groups who owe serious amounts of money. So it's just a little bit in the, in the middle. You and I, who are sat in our homes with no dogs and no heirs and greys around us, who have to, keep the energy system running. So regardless of who's in power, MPP or NDC, how are we going to keep, maintain, and expand energy if we don't come together? So, Fred, these are the realities on the ground.
You see, this subject is a subject that I would have loved that we discuss one as young people, devoid of partisan politicking. What do we do? All of us have lived in this country all these years, and we have all seen it all before. We should be able to call a spade, say it where it is wrong, where it is right, what do we do, offer some solutions and move forward as a people. Unfortunately, our brothers will always compel you to move into an arena that either you wouldn't really want to be in there. I have a difficulty with the electricity company of Ghana, ECG. ECG, I thought that they've not conducted themselves well over the period. We were told somewhere, I think 1998, 99, thereabout, that in this country, we had to go and enter into an agreement with a French company to come and collect our the bills, they call it, whatever it is, from customers for them. And I ask myself, that one too, is it rocket science that we cannot do locally?
But the ministers
now, technology has... No. Now we are talking about prepaid meters, just like the mobile phone. I buy the credit, I make my call. If the credit is finished, your phone is lying down there. Why is it not easy for ECG to go now, procure these prepaid meters, compulsory and necessarily put them in every area, every house?
If it means that storehouse and it got burnt down.
So that's why I have a difficulty. If you want to even go and apply for a meter today, if you want to just use the normal process, trust me, it can take you 3 months without getting the meter. If you go and pay somebody additional money, within a day or two, you get the meter. If the leadership of ECG really wants to get their money, ECG should be able to move out. The government, the president, even giving a directive. Move to the ministry, move to the agencies, move to individual houses, remove all those postpaid meters and put your prepaid meters over there for free of charge. The cost of the meter, spread it on their bills over a period of time. That they'll pay TNL and they wouldn't even realize that they are paying for the meter. Is that also rocket science that they cannot think and do? I have a difficulty why we still live in this country. An institution like University of Ghana, an institution like Tech, institution like Cape Coast, Kolebu, and all these huge institutions, where you have about 20,000, 30,000 human beings frequenting the place every day. We cannot be thinking about how to use other technologies to generate electricity over there. For instance, biogas. That we cannot get them off the national grid. Use biogas from there, use some small solar to power those institutions. I don't understand why up to date our street lights, our traffic lights are still connected to the national grid. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me why even the new estates that are coming up to date, we cannot say that if you, Nana, can afford to spend 100,000 Ghana cedi, whatever dollars, to buy a house, Nana should be able to pay additional money to have some solar panels put on his building that they can use for electricity. Is it difficult for us to enter into some kind of agreement or arrangement with these estate developers and say, listen, all these new buildings that they are putting up now, make sure they all have some solar panels on it? Is it difficult for us to do it? So as a people, we have sat back, bold and decisive decision we are supposed to take on energy issue. We have been, for whatever reason, very reluctant. We can give all the genuine, the good reasons, we can give all the excuses for it. But I think that if indeed we have put our mouth where our how do we say it? we have really been very concerned, we have really been very, very serious about this energy issue, I don't think that is an issue that we cannot resolve.
I see very good points you've raised, but it's been 3 years. I mean, is there anybody who could have cracked the whip to make sure that this was done in less than 3 years so that you don't have all this coming back?
Now, when I started my submission, I said it, that I would have wished that when we came into office, because before we exited office in 2001, we have several things that we have outlined we wanted to do in the energy sector. NPP came, they came with their own program. They also started doing their own thing, their own different way. When we came, those that we needed to have completed, we do. The new ones that we could have brought on board, knowing how significant or relevant energy is to our economy and development of everything, we should have really concentrated in that area. And that's why I'm saying that I personally am not happy with the speed. I thought that there was some laxity. There was some, we didn't take the necessary steps and action that we were supposed to have taken. And that is why we are still where we are today. It is true that a lot of work is being done. It is true that this problem will be resolved. This problem is not going to remain there forever and ever. But we could have averted it. We couldn't have been there because as we speak now, this thing that is happening, even government himself is suffering. If industry is laying off workers, people cannot work, people cannot pay income tax. How do government get money to do all of that things the government needs to do? If all your economic indicators and your projections, if all your projections cannot be, you see, as long as Nana continue on this tangent, thinking that everything is about NDC Mahama, everything about NDC Mahama, cooler than thou attitude. They have the same. You compel me to come back and tell, because I have told you on this platform that NPP is not a yardstick because they don't have anything.
Okay, let me go there. Let me get Nana to respond to the same thing. Nana, you see, our culture of wasting energy in our homes, we leave lights on, turn the AC on. Even our architecture, our modern architecture, just conserves heat in our homes. So almost every house needs a fan and an air condition, otherwise you can't live in it. So we have all these things, compounded together. So regardless of who is in power, you probably wouldn't be able to avert the problem we're going through now.
First of all, if Fred thinks that it has nothing to do with his government and their failings, then I would suggest to you, like they always ask us for alternatives, to ask him to leave. Because he has no value on it. He was invited here as an NDC person, as a propaganda secretary of the party. That's why he was invited. So he should leave. And let's deal with the real issues with Ghanaians as we know. Now, the next issue becomes, I beg to plead with you, that the reason we went on this demonstration today, along with the over 500,000 people who joined us, is because the energy, first of all, is not even there for you to begin to consider whether we can afford to pay. That afford to pay situation is quickly answered by the fact that today, the NDC government is letting us get charged about almost 14 cedis on a gallon of fuel when it should be charging around 8 cedis. And Ghanaians are paying for it. And they're telling them, today it was part of our concern, they're telling them that all these are there. So is that our problem? That's not our problem. Supply the power. Why aren't you able to supply the power? It's because there's something going on in their government that is not right. They're doing something wrong. How do you have an energy ministry and then suddenly split it in two? It turns out that all kinds of things are coming up. Now, again, my journal line is my source. There's a situation with the energy ministry spending a certain amount of money. Strange.
We can discuss it.
Now, all these things begin to raise questions. Why aren't they able to ask, if Mr. Boa is the one who's failing in that ministry so that we have an energy sector, what's he doing in office? You split the thing and create a situation for Dr. Donko to come. Dr. Donko just told us, just before he came into office, that this promise that the government keeps making about the fact that when gas comes online, everything will be all right, is not true. Dr. Donko, he said it publicly, he didn't hide it. Publicly, when he was put in what I like to say, quote-unquote, position, by being taken off his previous position as a deputy minister. He made it clear. So it means that this government is not being truthful about anything. Today's demonstration was about Dumsor. It's a critical thing because it's killing everything. Like I said, when I referred to the death of that couple, he was eager. Make that statement you made of her. Make it less here. You can't make it.
Which statement?
Now, yeah, why? I won't make it. You make it. You're not a man about it. You're not a man about it.
I am a man. I can
say what you say.
Say what you say. I didn't say anything.
Those people died. He was laughing about it.
Can you imagine?
He was laughing about it.
Oh, Nana, are you nodding your head in agreement that I'm laughing about it?
Deny it.
No, was I laughing
Deny
about
it. Did you not? This was recorded live. Now the next issue is this: it's affecting schools.
I don't know.
Was it this morning or yesterday? In one particular newspaper, I think it was the Finder. The music industry is crying; they are suffering. Welders and what have you, artisans, are complaining because now they have to work in the night because they can't afford generators. You tell me that you don't care. The other issue that is part of this demonstration and our concern is fuel matter. Like I said, they should be selling it around 8 cedis. Why are they not? Is it because in their term, between 2009 and now, they have increased the number of fuel stations across the country, and so there are people who are there, and so they are accumulating money under the guise of a so-called debt. That guise. Already, do you know that under their Nana, under their watch, the Honorable Kweku Kwatin took the government to court for the first time in our history, as far as I know. Anybody can correct me on that. On a matter of the government taking money from the people of Ghana unjustifiably. 600 million cedis worth. Have they paid? That one, are they making attempts to return that money to us in any form? And then this one, they find it interesting. We need to find out why. There are real issues. Our health sector is a mess. People are dying, not just from the Dumsor, from all kinds of situations. Doctors and nurses are suffering. All things are happening. What are they telling us? They think that is propaganda. You can come and sit here and say what you want.
Let me ask you, why is Mr. Boa still in office?
Why should he not be in office?
The arrogance of power. You see the question
because he hasn't done anything.
What is this? No, my question. I have to ask him the question.
This is the arrogance of power. Answer the question.
It is this Nana Fredo's behavior that is
answer the question.
The way you speak, the way you conduct yourself, you thought that you are more humble. Your very demeanor irritates everybody's viewing us this evening. It's really irritating. I'm telling you, I'm not emotional, but I'm telling everybody watching us. It's so irritated by your behavior and this holier than thou attitude you can.
Answer the question.
I'm saying that the worst form of NDC is the best of NPP. So if NDC is not there, NPP cannot be a political party that NDC will hand over power to. That they must bear in mind.
Issue on the table. Answer
it is not for you to come. He is saying that he is asking me, how come Honorable Boa is still in office? And I'm asking why.
Because he's giving the president a bad name. Because
How do you mean?
He's been hired to provide energy for Ghana.
Honorable Boa is in charge of petroleum.
Well, only recently.
That's right.
He was part of it. It's only recently,
That's right.
But he didn't do anything. That's how come it was split into two.
If you say he didn't do anything, I don't get it.
Well, did he?
You see,
Those
of you in the media also have a responsibility to help us set the record straight, to help us tell the truth about some of these issues. In as much as I agree that we are also feeling the pain, so pain is paining all of us, it doesn't mean that when the issues are brought to the fore, we will not discuss them very critically and very closely, but we will choose to handle them whichever way that will satisfy our own personal agendas about whatever it is. For you to suggest that, suggest that Honorable Boa has been there, he has not done anything, and that is why we are where we are, I don't get it. What is it that he was asked to do that he didn't do? I have just told you that the MPP is saying that the soft energy problem before we came into office.
No. Let's take it. Let's take to Mr. Boa.
Yes.
What is that he did wrong? If he's been hired to make sure that the country has 24-hour energy, 24 hours energy. If the country hasn't got 24-hour energy, why is he in office?
That means that everybody, all of us should resign from whatever that we are doing in this country. Because Honorable Boa was not put there only to take care of energy of this country. The ministry used to be Ministry of What? Then I think that this behavior, this issue.
Arrogance of power.
Let's try and figure out why Mr. Boa is still in office.
Now you're insulting me.
I'm not. Because you are describing me the way I can.
Now you're insulting me because you have power.
No, please.
He's deliberately doing it.
Ignore that.
Are you sure you can ignore it?
Let's just find out. Let's just explain to my viewers why part of their taxpayers. Let's explain to the viewers why part of their taxpayers will go and pay Mr.
They are telling you, read your text.
You see, I don't seem to understand your question. You are creating the impression as though Honorable Bua has failed at something. Honorable Bua was appointed as Minister of Energy. At the time, you can talk about petroleum, you can talk about the power sector of the ministry.
Can I have a point of information?
Just as, why?
Can I have a point
Under
of
President
information?
before, we had Ministry of Agriculture. I'm just using that to illustrate the point.
You said MPP doesn't matter.
I'm using that to illustrate the point. I'm using that to illustrate the point.
You said we don't
Just
matter.
briefly and come back to this one.
We used to have Ministry of Agriculture. At a point, he carved fisheries out of what? Ministry of Agriculture and put another minister over there. Does it mean that the minister who is in charge of agriculture had failed at fisheries or had failed completely? That is why he did that.
Was there failing in
the
fisheries?
fact that a president said, listen, let us carve power out of energy. Honorable Bua concentrate on the petroleum aspect of this country. We have just discovered petrol, we have just discovered gas. Concentrate, let's see how we can build that particular sector, that industry to benefit the country.
How many
power comes on this area?
How long was Bua in charge of energy before they split it and gave him petrol?
Honorable Bua, during the first term of Energy Administration, was the Deputy Minister of Energy.
Yeah,
it was President Mahama who appointed him. So barely 2 years. Therefore, barely 2 years.
Well, so that's why I'm saying that he's been in charge of energy up until about 3 weeks ago or a month ago.
Almost 2 years now. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm saying, what did he do? Under his watch, all the machines are broken. I mean, you have to start from the top.
If you put it the way, you see,
it's not personal.
No, well,
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
No, it's not personal. When they are weakened by the fact that they don't
as in
have
him,
answers.
the person.
No,
but I'm saying, why is he holding that office?
It's not order.
No, one second.
I wanted to offer a point of information to
No,
make
but
to
what
add
is
to your
this?
thing.
I think
The
that
fact
we
is
can
this,
have a discourse without...
The fact is that it is this same Mr. Bua who was advising Mr. Mahama to give us all those promises. If for nothing else, why is it that Dr. Donko has just come into office, barely how many weeks? He's already promised that if he doesn't solve this problem by the end of the day, he will step down. Why isn't Mr. Bua able to make the same promise? Why is he still in office? That was my point of view.
Let me take my final break, and then when we come back, we just find out why is it that we use our taxpayers to pay people who have not delivered, not personal, but as an office holder. As an office holder, why do you keep somebody in an office? No, it's not him personally, but just as an office holder, don't move. Fred, thank you very much. We are back. Some of the arguments behind the scenes you don't want to know, but my friend, we are back. I just want to find out, because if the tables had been turned, right, it's not person, it's not him, the individual. I think he's a nice-looking, handsome man. There's nothing wrong. But as an office holder, if the tables had been reversed and this guy had been an MPP man, there's no way you would accept that every month, take my taxes and give it to this man when I go home and it's dark.
You see, when you make that argument, again, I don't get it.
Okay.
You see, if we want to blame the entire energy problems that we are having now on one person, a sector minister that came to occupy that office barely for 2 years, and you say that is the cause of the problem, and therefore there's no need for us to have continued paying.
No, but the problem has gotten worse.
You see,
let's say if he inherited 12-hour lights off and he brings it down to 6 hours, I know he's done something. But if he takes it to 24 hours, then I'm thinking, hey, hold on.
Nana, for instance, I told you when I started my discussion that Akosombo Dam alone is supposed to give us about 1,020 megawatts. I'm coming.
We know all
you see,
that, he should have known.
You should have known. So
yeah, that Akosombo Dam is going. Therefore, let me find an alternative.
But he's been doing all the other things that he needed to do.
No, but the Dumsor is getting worse.
But he's been doing all the other things that he needed to do. When we realize, for instance, if, for instance, you are going to sign a contract to the people of Nigeria, that will give you gas to the gas pipeline, that is supposed to give you about 120 million cubic feet of gas.
I knew I wasn't going to get it.
How can you
I'm coming.
I knew we were not going to get it.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
Then the Nigerian people agree, you have signed this contract, they wake up every day and they give you 35 million, 20 million, 50 million.
Saying, Mr. Boy, didn't know that Nigeria was going to triple their energy supply, therefore they needed their gas?
Master, when you sign an agreement,
no, you know,
When
even,
we signed
whether
agreement with
agreement or not,
So
Nigeria wasn't going
no, I'm coming.
Yeah, the Nigeria wasn't
So
going to
if
give them
Nigeria abrogated the contract or they are not complying with the agreement that we entered with them, then plan B, can we quickly build our own plant? Then we started our own achievable project with the aim that if the Nigeria is not giving us what they're supposed to give us. But yes, when I was making my submission, I was one of the persons who said that I didn't like the speed.
Exactly. So once you don't like the speed, why don't you sack the guy at the top?
It is not. Can it be about him alone? Is it the one who said Nigeria should not give us the gas? It's not the one who said Nigeria should not give us the gas. It's not the one who said that it shouldn't rain.
He should have known.
It should have
that
known.
We don't pay.
So if you know, what do you do?
We don't pay proper money to Nigeria for their gas. They'll rather sell it to people who
the
pay
point I'm making is that
Nigeria is doubling their energy, so they need their gas.
He got to know, and he put a plan B in place. The plan B is yet to materialize. These things are.
Plan B is yet materialize. Yet to materialize. People are dying.
I thought that
we're talking about people in school now having to study. We're talking about yet to materialize. We're talking about people's businesses.
No, so if you think that you are a magician and you can call these things to be, then call them to be the media
yet to materialize. And then when you ask them for real solutions,
how true is this I'm seeing on the screen? Disappointed NDC youth crossing over to.
Now you are looking for NDC members to come and tell your phone, so you are not going to increase.
This demonstration today was an invitation to all Ghanaians interested in talking about their power situation, about their fuel situation, about the bad state of the educational system, bad state of our health system, everything, water, everything. So people showed up from all walks of life.
It is a more reasonable.
Like I told you, it isn't by our own utterance. International media are estimating over 500,000 people showing up for this thing.
That's for you cannot convince me
that there were not NDC people who are frustrated by this situation who came there.
Nana,
why?
I am frustrated by the
situation. They came there
I don't like the light off. This morning when I woke up, I didn't have
so
light
as far as I'm concerned, that's what's most important. Now, the real issue on the ground is, are there real solutions coming from the government? Are they really thinking about us? I asked the question about the badge.
Let's assume that
these
we
things
don't
that
have
are broken
real
down.
solutions. We have already outlined the things we want to do. Let MPP tell us 1, 2, 3 things that they can do that we have not mentioned in all the things
Let me answer you, Fred. Leave government to us right now.
Can you imagine?
Leave government to us right now. There's nothing
we cannot hand over this country
today's demonstration. One of their fears.
It is dangerous for us to hand over this country to MPP.
Was that they were afraid that Ghanaians today would express themselves the way they did. They were afraid that it would be proven to the world. Yes.
MPP.
Why will you be in a hurry to hold press conference after press conference?
Are you worried about press conference?
Because
that the leading member of your party has going to make ethnocentric
it became obvious that first of all,
comment that will divide this country, and then we are throwing light on it.
And his assistants and the propaganda people are not out there doing anything for their party. So somebody said, where are you people? I say, let me make something. Then they come out.
They come to react to what Ghanaians are suffering about. And put pepper and so they call this thing. And you got a demonstration, we know it. Your parliament, your members of parliament were sleeping on Gabi coughed. Your party was sleeping on Gabi coughed. So who is talking about it?
Ghanaians are suffering. The mandate of the president ends January 7, 2017.
2021.
Between now and January 7,
he would deliver and April renew his mandate.
We pray that Mr. Mahama will stop traveling too much. He's spending more hours abroad than necessary. He should stay at home and let us understand that he is truly working. He should stop commissioning things. He should stop commissioning things that are not working for us. He should leave to Commissioner Mahama and be President Mahama.
By the time President Mahama is leaving office in 2021,
that is what
the people of this country
those children who
will realize that we have gotten a president who have come to resolve our problems.
By the time
that one will come to pass. I'm saying that it should be informed.
When I was speaking, when he was speaking, I waited for him.
It should be informed.
He's being rowdy about it, but I'll leave him.
MPP is not an alternative. If even NDC is worse, MPP cannot be. But President Mahama will finish his work in 2021. By the time he's out of office, the people of this country would have come to realize that they voted for a president who have come to solve our energy problems once and for all. And that one will happen.
Is there any office or any person that the president can point to and say, look, you let us down with regards to energy?
All of us, including you and I.
In his office, we are not in his office.
We have a president who went to Germany and look at the people and listen. He, President Mahama, is taking responsibility for whatever that is happening.
Then you should step down.
It is he, the people of this country, has voted.
The back stopped at his door, but he must have delegated the power to somebody.
All of us have a role to play. See, this country, for this country to succeed, for this country to move on, all of us as citizens of this country have a responsibility.
So there's no.
If you Nana to sit here today, because your lights were off at the time you were leaving the house, and so let's assume that you forgot. You left all your fans on. Your bedroom air conditioner is still on as we speak now. Everything in your house is on. You go there, you are wasting electricity. You see, it doesn't want to answer.
I'm talking about officials. When we want education on how to manage our energy, we should take it from
That's all time.
We are talking about real
management. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, folks. That's all time will allow me. But on Thursdays, as usual, those who follow me on Joy FM, that's my opinion.
And that's your program.
Yes, that's my program.
Listening to that your program.
Very good. Hey, tomorrow, I'm saying we have 2 weeks to make the ultimate decider in this country. 2 weeks as to whether we make a short turnaround or a very, very long turnaround. 2 weeks.
You seem to be urging people.
Independence Day is coming, and it all depends on that. If you want to hear why, you can't miss it. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., tune in to Joy FM and listen to my take on that.
No, I suggest we tune in because it is a serious program.
Thank you very much for watching. And tomorrow we'll be back to do it all over again.